Good evening once again, and welcome to our final debate for Decision 2022. I'm Lee Anderson. Once again, we're joined by the two candidates running for the Oregon State House, District 54 this time, Democrat Jason Kropf and Republican Judy Trego. Now, Democrat Jason Kropf is the current incumbent in that seat. We're going to begin now with a look at the newly revised House District 54 map. Historically, it's been the city of Bend, primarily. But since redistricting, it's now a bit farther south and a bit more to the south and east. Through a random drawing tonight, we determined Jason Kropf will go first. Each candidate now gets 90 seconds for opening remarks. Mr. Kropf.
Thank you, Lee, and thank you, Judy, for being here. I'm Jason Kropf. I'm state representative for House District 54, and I'm running to continue to represent Bend in the State House. Before I was elected in 2020, I served as a deputy district attorney here in Deschutes County for 15 years. And most of my work was in the juvenile justice system, working with kids and families in crisis. And there were times I would see incredible changes when people got the support and services that they needed. But far too often, I saw the results of generational struggle. I ran for the State House because I knew the solutions to what I was seeing every day in court existed far upstream. We know that everybody deserves to be safe and have stability in their life. That all of us deserve to live our lives as our true selves, and each of us to have the opportunity to reach our fullest potential. To reach those goals, it starts with making sure everybody has a safe place to call home, and those in crisis have access to shelter and services they need to get back on their feet. It means that we have to make sure that everybody has access to physical and mental health care, including protecting the right to reproductive health care. It means building an economy that works for everyone, where each person has real economic opportunities. And the foundation of that type of economy is a high-quality education system that prepares our students for the jobs of today and tomorrow. And we need to take action on climate change to protect this beautiful place. I know that we can come together and work together and meet these challenges and fulfill the potential of Oregon. Thank you so much for having me here to discuss these important issues.
Very good. Thank you, Jason. Judy Trego, you have 90 seconds to have your opening remarks.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Hi, I'm Judy Trego, and I'm running for State Representative, House District 54. I've lived in Central Oregon for 30 years. I've been married for 40 years, and I've raised 2 children in Central Oregon schools. I have worked the majority of that 30 years in the nonprofit and public sector. I've served as the executive director for a nonprofit working to reduce the root causes of poverty. I've worked the last 8 years as a small business advocate and executive director for a rural chamber of commerce. I have many years of experience working at the local, state, and federal level. I was an elected city councilor and served as council president. I worked at the federal level for a U.S. congressperson managing the Office of Constituent Services for the Bend District Office, and as the chief of staff for the Oregon State Senate. I have also been a longtime volunteer in the community. I currently serve on the Deschutes County Budget Committee. I've served on the Central Oregon Intergovernmental Council, on the Commission on Children and Families Board, on the Heart of Oregon Core Board, and many other local organizations to help people of limited means in our community. Thank you again for joining us tonight.
Very good. Okay, time for our first question now, and there may be some redundancy in these questions of what you've brought up in your opening remarks, but I think it's good for the viewers, voters, I should say, at home watching tonight. In 6 days and about 55 minutes, the votes will start to be counted, and the Deschutes County Clerk's office will be buzzing with excitement and energy. Why do you want to be the District 54 representative, Judy Trego? You have a minute now for that question.
This is a culmination of a lifetime, a career of work for the last 30 years here in Central Oregon. I have a heart and a passion for helping those of limited means. I have worked in the nonprofit sector to help develop and manage an adolescent substance abuse prevention program, managed a community partners mentoring program, increased economic development for small businesses, and chaired the Small Office Home Office Business Network. In addition to that, I managed the Community Assets Program and promoted parenting classes. I have a long history in Central Oregon of working to reduce the root causes of poverty, and really that advocacy piece is what makes me the best choice for the seat. I can work cooperatively across the aisle. I've worked with Democrats and Republicans and independents the entire time in my career, and I would love a chance to do that for Bend.
Okay. Same question to you, Jason. Why do you want to be the representative? I know you're in that seat. Why do you want to continue?
Well, Lee, I would say there's just a ton more work that needs to be done. We need to take real, robust action to drive down the cost of living here in this community, and that starts with tackling the affordable housing crisis here in Bend. In my first term, I was able to secure funding for homeless services, help secure funding for the Navigation Center here in Bend so that we would have a permanent warming shelter year-round and services to help people get back to that stability and off the streets. I was able to secure the development of an underutilized piece of state land for a dense, complete neighborhood with 20 of those acres being deeded to the city to make sure we could build upwards of 700 units of affordable housing. I'm running because we need to take more action to make sure we're making investments in affordable housing, to make sure that we're fully funding our schools so every kid has the opportunity to reach their fullest potential, and we're doing all we can to protect this beautiful place.
Wonderful. Judy, would you like 30 extra seconds to tell us why you should be going to Salem?
I just have a heart and a passion for Bend. I've spent a lifetime working in this community, and I would like to continue to do it at this level. I have the experience, I care about Bend, and I have a proven track record of success. I'm action-oriented, and I want to get things done, and I want to get things done quicker.
Good, very good. Jason, you have 30 seconds as well.
Thanks, Lee. You know, Lee, I've demonstrated the ability to work across aisles to pass legislation that's meaningful for Bend. I passed legislation with bipartisan support to start the joint office to tackle homelessness in our community, where our cities and our counties and community partners work together to find solutions to our homeless crisis. I'm going to continue to bring that can-do attitude back to Salem to fight for our community, make sure that we have the resources and investments that we need to move our town forward.
Very good. Next question regards the smaller now District 54. What does a smaller district mean exactly? Is it good? Is it bad? Your thoughts on that. And Jason, you begin.
Well, Lisa, the redistricting process was, we do that every 10 years to make sure that every House district in the state, there's 60 of them, have the same number of voters or same number of people in every district. So from 2010 to 2010, the district started out, all the districts started the same size. Bend, being one of the fastest growing communities in the West and the fastest growing community here in Oregon, our House district became one of the largest House districts by the time I was first elected in 2020. So redistricting was needed to make sure all the districts are the same size. All the districts are approximately 70,000 people. It also means we have more representation. We're going to have, we'll continue to have 2 representatives who represent Bend, and we continue to work to meet our goals for our community.
Okay, all right. Judy, your thoughts on that?
Every 10 years they look at redistricting. There's a process that is put in place, and it is to align communities that have economic interest, geographic interests that align. So I appreciate the process that you have to go through to get there. I wish it would have been a little better process. I think that redistricting would have been better if there were both sides of the aisle at the table, I will say. Economic interest aligning with Portland for Bend, I'm not sure that that plays well in Bend. I will say that it does make it easier to campaign when you have a smaller district, and it gives you a better alignment with your constituents, so you can serve them better with what they call the whole, or the donut hole, right. Bend. So it does help to have a smaller area geographically to work with your constituents.
All right. Jason, would you like to add anything on that? You got 30 seconds if you'd like.
No, thank you.
Okay, all right. Let's move on then. Judy, you want 30 more seconds on that?
No, thank you.
Okay, all right. All right, okay, next one. Now we're getting to the meat and the potatoes of the questions now, okay? The issue of gun safety. Okay, we know what's happened in Bend. We don't have to go there anymore, but we do have the Measure 114 in front of voters coming up Tuesday. Do you support Measure 114? Why or why not? And Judy, we begin with you.
So Measure 114 has unintended consequences that I believe will be very difficult to overcome. If 114 does pass, there will need to be legislative adjustments. One example of that is that to get your permit, you have to have taken a gun safety course, and to take the gun safety course, you actually have to have your permit. So there are some legislative fixes that will need to be done and to make it workable so that people can actually comply with the new law, so that it doesn't end up in a protracted court case long term. I just think the legislature will need to work on that in 2023 over the long session. There's also some concern about funding, about it costing $50 million annually or biannually to monitor and set that up. The other concern I have is about the database program. Oregon has an appalling record of creating and developing databases.
Okay, your time's up there, Judy, but we'll come back to you because you get 30 more seconds on this. Jason, your thoughts on Measure 114?
Lee, I support Measure 114, and I don't want to push back on your question a little bit, but you said something like we don't have to go there about what happened in Bend. We cannot forget what happened in our community in August. It was heartbreaking to see what would happen. The problem is there's so many communities that this has happened to that we can't hardly keep track. A friend of mine who's a teacher was telling me the week before school started, when they're supposed to be doing planning for the upcoming school year, he was taught by a school resource officer how to use a tourniquet. Think about that. Think about that is what we're facing. I support common sense gun safety measures to keep our community safer. I support Measure 114. I was a sponsor of the Safe Storage Bill in 2021 that made sure guns are locked up and made sure our schools have the opportunity to keep guns out of our schools. And I'm continuing to push for gun safety measures. Look, I grew up in a hunting family. There's a difference between guns that are made for hunting and guns that are made for shooting people and guns that are made for shooting a lot of people, and we should have different rules in place for those.
Okay, very good. We'll come back to you now, Judy.
I also support safety training courses. I do support those. I am concerned about the database, so we will need to make sure that that database, the information in the database is safe, secure, and accurate. And I do want to acknowledge and also thank the EMTs, the firefighters, and all those, the Bend PD for their quick response at the Safeway. I met in the parking lot with a woman who was in the Safeway the night of the shooting, and she was explaining to me what happened, and I am just glad there were people in that store who had the ability to take care of that problem.
Okay. 30 extra seconds for Jason.
You know, Lee, part of the reason why I support Measure 114 is make sure that everybody goes through a background check, and to make sure that everybody demonstrates the ability to safely use a firearm. It also is going to make an impact about what we saw here in Bend. That person, between the walk from their house to the Safeway, fired off. They found over 100 shell casings. Think about that. Measure 114 is going to limit magazine sizes, so it's going to make it harder to do that. So we will not have assault-style weapons in the state, and we need to make sure that we're having common-sense rules to keep our community safer.
All right. The discussion's good on this one. Let's continue it. Judy, we'll give you 30 more seconds.
I really think it's important. I've never owned a firearm, but if I'm in a grocery store and somebody walks in with a gun and starts shooting people, I hope the person next to me has one. This woman and her husband helped escort people out of the store who were hysterical. They were going to come back in, and then the situation was resolved. But my heart goes out to the people who were in that store, or who were any store, any school, where someone gets in who should not be there with a gun. And we really need to keep guns out of the hands of people who should not have them.
All right. Jason, you get the final word on this one.
The goal is to prevent this from even happening, not to make sure other people are armed in a grocery store if this happens, or in our church, or in our schools. Common sense gun safety measures will help us prevent these types of tragedies moving forward. And we have to take a robust look at our gun safety measures to make sure that we have the measures in place to limit the types of firearms that cause this level of destruction, and to make sure guns are not in the hands of dangerous people.
All right, good discussion on that issue, Measure 114. Here's another big issue that confronts all of us in the state of Oregon right now: homelessness. It's something affecting your district, District 54. What are your plans in Salem? Jason, you start this one.
That is a great question, Lee. It is unsafe what is happening in our community right now, right? We need to make sure that people are in crisis have access to shelter. And we need to make sure people are struggling with mental health issues and addiction issues have access to the services that get them stable and move them to more permanent housing situations. I passed legislation in 2022 to bring $1 million in resources to Bend so we can have a joint office to tackle homelessness in our community. It's an office that works with our county and all of our cities here in Deschutes County, along with our community partners like veterans groups, nonprofits, and faith-based groups. When we collaborate and pool our energies together and stretch our dollars, we can tackle this issue. We can make sure people are safe. We can make sure that people have a place to call home, and we can make this a better community for all of us. So part of it is I'm going to continue to fight to make sure we have the resources that we have in this community and give the tools to the people doing the work on the ground so they have the tools that they need to tackle this crisis.
Okay. Judy Trego.
Well, first and foremost, it is not, nor should it be illegal to be homeless. We must have compassion for our homeless population, and the goal should be to end homelessness. That said, encampments like the one on Hunnell Road, China Hat, and Juniper Ridge highlight decades of calamitous decisions by planners, politicians, and health and housing authorities. We need to increase economic opportunities for folks. We need to increase workforce training programs, and we need to keep those who are housed from becoming homeless. And one way is to reduce the cap on income in order to receive services, or at least have a range based on cost per living per the individual. We need to have programs and resources for the chronically houseless population. And we need to get working people off the streets and into housing. Single parents with children, we need to get them into housing right away. We need to help the chronically homeless, and we need to do it today.
Okay. Jason, you got 30 extra seconds on this.
Yeah, I would say, besides making sure we have the resources and the coordination we need for the incredible people doing the work on the ground here in Deschutes County, it's also about making sure we're helping people when they're on the cusp of being unhoused stay in their homes. It's easier and more effective to keep them housed than to try to help them once they get into crisis. Also, it speaks to we have to build more affordable and workforce housing. We have to build a greater variety of housing so that housing is more affordable for people here, so we can move people from being unhoused to being housed and being more stable.
Okay. Judy, you get the last word on this one.
We also need to increase mental, behavioral health, and drug and alcohol prevention programs. We need to spend the Measure 110 money. Only 1 to 2% of the Measure 110 money is being spent. And so we really need to get boots on the ground to help people who are experience alcohol and drug addiction, help them with wraparound services, get working families off the streets.
Okay, very good. The next one, here's a doozy for you. And Judy, you start this time. Many people claim there's a political divide in the state of Oregon. Do you feel Central Oregon is fairly represented in Salem?
I feel like Central, Eastern, and Southern Oregon constituents are concerned about the representation they have in Salem. First of all, it's geographic. They have to drive 3 hours over to the Capitol, sit in a hearing room, and to be heard for 3 minutes. And if the meeting goes too long, they don't get to be heard at all. So I've heard for a very long time. I was in the Oregon Capitol for 4 years. I worked there. And a lot of those folks feel they are not adequately represented in Salem. They want advocacy. They want a voice speaking for them at the Capitol, as it's very difficult to get over the Santiam Pass and the snow and the ice, and the shutdown of the Capitol, where they were on Zoom meetings, made it even more challenging.
Okay. I know you got more to say on that. We'll come back to you. But your turn now, Jason.
Well, yeah, I think there are some divides in the state. I mean, that's obvious. I will tell you my approach, Lee, is I've had this job for about 2 years. I try very hard to connect with all 4 corners of my district, make sure that I'm open to as many perspectives and thoughts and ideas as possible. A good idea is a good idea no matter where it comes from. I will tell you my approach. In the short session in 2022, we're allowed to draft 2 bills. I drafted a bill to fund that pilot project and bring money here to Deschutes County to tackle homelessness, and I drafted a piece of legislation to help crime victims get restitution. Both those bills had bipartisan sponsors. The first bill passed with unanimous support, Republicans and Democrats. The second bill passed with 1 no vote in the House and 1 no vote in the Senate. I worked very hard to reach across the aisle to work with my colleagues of both parties to get things done. People expect solutions. I think I've demonstrated that in my first term, and I'm going to continue to bring that attitude back with me to Salem next year.
All right, you get 30 extra seconds on this one, Judy.
And I will as well. As the numbers get closer in the State House, when I actually worked at the Capitol, the numbers were even. And so that was the best time working in the Capitol, because there were equal amount of Democrats and Republicans. And every bill that passed had to be bipartisan. And we had some of the best legislation that ever came out of the Oregon State Capitol during that time. So I think it's important to meet with your constituents when you're home, take back those ideas to Salem, advocate for them. I wrote a women's health bill for breast cancer that was passed at the Oregon State Capitol. And just listening and continuing that conversation with your constituents is very important.
All right, Jason?
I'll just touch on one thing. You know, we learned a lot of lessons during the pandemic, and one of the lessons that we learned was how do people from all parts of the state be able to participate in our legislative process, right? We did things virtually so people could testify from their homes in Bend or Redmond or all the way out in Ontario without having to drive over to the Capitol. We're going to keep those hybrid measures in place. You can drive over to the Capitol, testify, meet with your legislator. You can also do things virtually so that more people can be part of our democratic process.
Okay, very good. Next one. It's also a doozy concerning Salem.
Are you going to tell us if they're not doozies?
Yeah. No, you can figure that out. In the recent past, the Republicans in Salem staged a walkout as a political statement, but they weren't the first to use this tactic. A few years back, the Democrats did the same thing. Now there's a measure to make that illegal with penalties. And your thoughts on that? And I believe it is Jason Kropf's turn to start on that.
I support that measure. We are elected to show up to work every day. That's what I did. I'm never going to walk out. I'm going to show up every day, and I'm going to participate in the process. I'm going to fight for my community, and that's my expectation of all elected officials.
Very quick answer there. Judy, your thoughts?
You know, I am a worker, and I am not going to walk out during some political maneuver. It's important when people elect you to do a job that you're there to do the job. And how you get good legislation is being on the floor of the House of Representatives. You can be there and advocate your position for your constituents at the State House, and I do not believe that walking out is the answer. I believe that people vote, and when they do, they're making a statement. And I think it is critical that the House Democrats and the House Republicans come together, stop this bipartisan bickering and fighting, and get things done for the people of Bend.
All right, very good. You both agree on that, but the second part of the question is there might be penalties involved if there's a walkout. You might not be in a leadership position to say, it's time to walk out or not, but if your leadership in the House decides that's the tactic we're going to use, do you believe in the penalties then, Jason?
So I think the ballot measure says if you have so many unexcused absences that preclude you from service, I think there should be a consequence for somebody who doesn't show up for their job.
Okay, very good. Judy?
Yes, I believe there should be penalties for not showing up for work.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. That's all the questions that we have for you tonight. We do have time now for closing remarks, and we're going to start the next one up. Judy, you get to start with this. You get 90 seconds to have your closing remarks.
Again, I'm Judy Trego. I'm running for State Representative, House District 54 in Bend. The ability to listen to all sides and come to compromise is the cornerstone on which I have built my career. No one legislator, no one party has all the answers or all the solutions for the issues that face our farms, schools, small businesses, and our healthcare communities in Bend. Common sense solutions are needed in our state government, and my election to the State House of Representatives will help to restore needed balance. If you want practical solutions to the urgent issues that we are facing, I would ask for your vote on November 8th.
Okay, very good. Jason Kropf, you have 90 seconds for your final remarks.
Thank you. Lee, thank you for having us, and thank you, KTVZ, and Judy, thank you. Nice seeing you again. I feel so fortunate to call Central Oregon home and to be raising my family here. It has been a tough couple years, to say the least. But how we came together during those tough times made me even more grateful to call this place home. We are a community. We are a community of incredibly talented and passionate people. We are a community that is willing to tackle our toughest challenges. We innovate. Look at the old mill. That is a symbol of how we reinvented ourselves from a post-timber economy. We clawed our way back from the 2008 recession. And if you look at OSU Cascades, we are literally transforming our old landfill into the college campus of the future. It's a symbol of our ingenuity, resourcefulness, and our grit. It's a pretty incredible place that we call home. I know we can tackle our biggest challenges. I know that we can make sure that everybody has a place to call home, that we can have an economy that works for everybody, that each of us here can have access to the health care that we deserve, and we can make sure that we're protecting the right to reproductive health care that is under attack in so many other places in this country. We can have a school system that gets all our kids ready for their future, and we can protect this beautiful place for future generations. I ask for your support as we continue to push forward to the Oregon that we all deserve.
Very good. That was the debate, our final one of the season, 2022, Decision 2022 season. Election Day, of course, is next Tuesday, and we'll have full coverage, of course. Our coverage will begin on Fox at 4 p.m. Tuesday. It'll continue throughout the afternoon and evening and through 11:30 on NBC that night. So be sure and tune in for that. And be sure to tune in later tonight for the latest news and weather on First at 10 on Fox. My thanks to our guests again tonight, and have a good evening. We'll see you later.